Hey everyone, welcome to English in Fluency. I'm your host, Alex, and I am so glad you're here today. Seriously, if you clicked on this video, it means something important. It means you want to go beyond just understanding words. You want to feel the language. You want to hear someone say something and not just understand what they said, but understand how they felt when they said it. That is a completely different skill, and honestly, most courses never even touch it. But today, we are going all the way in. Today, we are talking about relief. That warm, wonderful feeling when something bad doesn't happen, or when something difficult finally comes to an end. We're going to look at how real English speakers express that feeling in real conversations. Not textbook English. Real English. The kind you hear in offices, in kitchens, on the phone, between friends. So stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you are going to hear relief. I mean, really hear it. In a way you never have before. Before we get into the conversations, I want to ask you something. Have you ever watched an English movie or a TV show and heard someone say something like, "Oh, thank goodness," or "What a relief," and you understood the words perfectly, but still felt like you missed something? Like the moment went past you a little too fast? I think that happens to a lot of learners. And the reason is that relief is not just a word. It is an emotion. It has a shape. It has a sound. It has a rhythm. And when you understand those things, everything changes. You stop just decoding language, and you start experiencing it. That is the goal today. So let's build this together, step by step. Let me start by talking about what relief actually is, because the better you understand the emotion, the easier it becomes to recognize it in language. Relief is what happens after tension. Think about it. You feel relief when a problem goes away, when danger passes, when something you were worried about turns out to be okay. It's that exhale, that deep breath out, that moment where your shoulders drop and your whole body sort of relaxes. In English, this emotion comes out in very specific ways, and today we're going to look at all of them. We're going to hear it in the words people choose, in the way their sentences are structured, in the small sounds and filler words they use, and even in what they don't say. Let's meet our first speaker. Her name is Nina. She's 34 years old, works as a project manager at a small company, and today she just found out that a big presentation she's been preparing for got moved to next week. She had been working on it all night and was feeling really anxious this morning. Listen to how she talks about it. Nina walks into the office break room and her colleague Marco is there making coffee. She says, "Oh my gosh, Marco, you are not going to believe this. The Henderson presentation, it got pushed to Thursday." Thursday! I have been up since 5 in the morning going over those slides, and now I have 3 more days. Marco looks at her and says, "Wait, seriously? That's actually really good news." And Nina says, "Good news? It is the best news. I feel like I can breathe again. Honestly, I was starting to feel sick just thinking about walking in there today. Now I can actually fix the part in the middle that I knew wasn't right. Oh, I am so relieved right now." Okay, pause. Let's look at what happened there. Did you catch all of it? Let's slow it down. The first thing Nina says is, "You are not going to believe this." Now, she's not talking about something bad. She's about to share good news. But she leads with surprise. That's a signal. When someone opens with, "You're not going to believe this," and their voice is excited rather than worried, They're setting up a relief story. They're saying, I had a problem, and now I don't. That contrast, having a problem and then not having it, is the heart of relief. Then she says, I have been up since 5 in the morning. This is the before. This is her showing you the weight of what she was carrying. This is really important for understanding relief, because relief always has a before. If there's no tension, there's no relief. Nina is giving Marco, and giving us, the context. She's saying, here's how hard this was. And then she hits us with the after. Now I have 3 more days. Short sentence, punchy. The contrast does all the work. And then, this is the part I really want you to listen to, she says, I feel like I can breathe again. This is such a perfect expression of relief. It's physical. Breathing. Because when we're stressed, we actually do hold our breath a little. We tighten up. We brace ourselves. And when the stress goes away, we exhale. So saying I can breathe again is not just an expression. It's a real description of what relief feels like in the body. This phrase comes up a lot in English. You'll hear people say it in many different situations. I can finally breathe. I feel like I can breathe again. I couldn't breathe until I got that call. Keep that one. It's very natural and very real. Then she says, I was starting to feel sick just thinking about it. Again, the before. She's going back to the tension, which makes the relief feel bigger when she says, now I can actually fix the part in the middle. She's not just relieved. She's already thinking forward, already making plans. That forward energy is also part of relief. When the weight lifts, people start moving again. They think about what they'll do next. You hear this shift in their language, from past tense and worry to present and future tense and action. And she closes with, oh, I am so relieved right now. Simple, direct. And that oh at the beginning, that little sound does a lot of work. Oh, in this context, is an emotional softener. It's not informational, it's emotional. It means, this feeling is coming over me as I speak. When you hear someone say oh before an emotional statement, that oh is telling you that the emotion is fresh. They're feeling it in the moment. That's something that voice recordings and real conversations give you that textbooks simply can't. Now, let's talk about the word so. Nina says, I am so relieved. In casual English, so before an adjective is an intensifier. It means very, extremely, completely. But it sounds warmer than very. I am very relieved is correct, but it sounds a little stiff. I am so relieved feels more natural, more conversational, more human. When you're practicing English and you want to express strong emotion, try swapping very for so, and notice how it sounds. You'll hear the difference right away. Let's bring in another character. This is Daniel. He's 41, he's a high school teacher, and he's been waiting to hear back about a medical test result for his father. He's been anxious all week. Today he gets the call. Everything is fine. His wife, Laura, is at home when he calls her. Let's listen. Daniel's voice is shaky, but warm when he calls. Laura, it's me. Dad's results came back. Everything's okay. They said it's nothing serious. There's a short pause on the line, and then Laura says, Oh, Daniel. Oh, thank God. Her voice breaks a little. Then Daniel says, Yeah, I know. I've been sitting in my car for 10 minutes because I couldn't even drive. I just needed a minute. Laura says, Come home. Just come home. We'll talk when you get here. I'm just so glad. I'm just so glad it's okay. There's so much happening in this conversation. Let's take it apart, carefully. First, listen to how Daniel delivers the news. He doesn't say, "Great news! Dad's results are great." He says it simply, quietly. Everything's okay. Why? Because when the relief is big, when the stakes were really high, people often get very quiet and simple. The emotion is too big for exclamation points. It comes out in short sentences, simple words, long pauses. That's what serious relief sounds like. This is very different from Nina's relief, which was lighter and more energetic. The emotion is the same, but the weight behind it was different, and that changes everything about how it sounds. Then Laura says, "Oh, thank God." This phrase. This is one of the most common expressions of relief in English. You'll hear it from people of all different backgrounds, all ages. It's not necessarily a religious statement. It's an expression. It means, "I am so relieved. I don't even have the words for it." The O before it, again, is that emotional marker. It's saying, "This is hitting me right now, as I speak." Thank God. Thank goodness. Thank heavens. These all function the same way. They're emotional releases, not logical statements. Now here's something really interesting. Daniel says, "I've been sitting in my car for 10 minutes because I couldn't even drive." That is such a human detail. He is not explaining the situation. He is sharing his physical response to the emotion. Relief, like all strong emotions, can do things to your body. It can make your hands shake. It can bring tears. It can stop you in place. When speakers share these physical details, "I couldn't even move. I just sat there. My hands were shaking." They are giving you the emotional picture. They're showing you the inside of the experience. And in English, this kind of showing is a sign of deep emotional expression. Listen for these body details. They are little windows into the heart of the conversation. Laura's response at the end? "I'm just so glad. I'm just so glad it's okay." Notice the repetition. She says, "I'm just so glad," twice. In everyday English, repetition is not a mistake. Repetition is emphasis. Repetition is emotion. When someone repeats something, they are saying, "This feeling is strong. I can't say it just once. I need to say it again because once isn't enough." Also notice the word just. "I'm just so glad." The word just here softens and deepens the emotion at the same time. It's like saying, "All I feel right now is this." It's simple. It's pure. It's just relief. Keep this word "just" in mind. In emotional English, it comes up a lot. I just wanted to say, "I'm just so happy." I just needed to hear that. It usually signals that the speaker is being very sincere and vulnerable. All right, let's shift tone a little bit. Not all relief is serious or heavy. Sometimes relief is funny. Sometimes it's slightly embarrassing. Sometimes it's a mix of relief and, "Oh wow, I was really worried for nothing." Let's meet Sophie, who is 26 and has just realized that the very important email she thought she deleted was not actually deleted. She's talking to her roommate, Clara. Sophie bursts into the kitchen laughing. "Clara! Oh my gosh! Okay, so I have been losing my mind for the past hour because I thought I deleted the email from Professor Walsh, the one with my project feedback, and I've been looking everywhere. I even went through my trash folder twice. Clara, I literally Googled how to recover deleted emails at 11:30 last night. And do you know where it was? Do you know where it was? In my other inbox. My secondary inbox. I didn't even remember I had a secondary inbox." Clara starts laughing too. "Are you serious right now?" And Sophie says, "I know, I know. I feel so stupid. But also, I'm not even mad. I'm just, phew, I'm so relieved." Like, that's it. That's the whole feeling. This is beautiful, isn't it? Did you notice how different this sounds from Daniel's conversation? The relief is real, but it's light. It's funny. Sophie is laughing at herself. And that matters, because one of the things that makes English conversation so rich is that relief comes in different flavors. There's deep, grateful relief. There's giddy, laughing relief. There's quiet relief. There's exhausted relief. And each one sounds different. Let's look at some of the language Sophie uses. "I have been losing my mind." This is an idiom. It means she's been very stressed, almost going crazy with worry. It's informal and expressive. Losing my mind paints a very vivid picture without being too serious. And then she gives the evidence. She Googled how to recover deleted emails. This is a wonderful conversational move. She's proving her worry to make the relief funnier. "I was so worried that I did this embarrassing thing" is a classic setup for laughing relief storytelling. Then she says, "Phew." Did you catch that? Phew is a sound, not really a word, but it does such important work in English. It's the sound of exhaling tension. You say phew when a stressful thing is over, when danger passes, when something turns out to be okay. It's almost like the body's relief escaping through your lips. You'll also hear whoo. It's basically the same sound. These little sounds are meaningful. When you hear them in a conversation, you know. This person just had a close call. Something scary or stressful just ended. That's your signal that relief is the emotion in play. And then Sophie says something that is very, very worth paying attention to. Like, that's it. That's the whole feeling. She is meta-commenting on her own emotion. She's stepping back and saying, "I've described it. I'm done. It's just relief. Pure and simple." This kind of language, where someone sort of wraps up their emotional description and labels it, happens in real English all the time. People name their feelings. That's relief right there. That's what gratitude feels like. That's love, honestly. When you hear someone label their emotion out loud, it's usually a sign that the emotion is strong, and they've been processing it for a moment. Now I want to talk about something that I think is really important for understanding emotional English. And it's this: what people don't say. Silence and pauses are also part of communication. Let's go back to Daniel's conversation for a moment. After he tells Laura the results, there's a pause. Laura doesn't immediately respond. And that pause says something. It says, "This is hitting me. I'm taking it in. I'm feeling something I can't immediately put into words." In written transcripts, pauses are invisible. But in real speech, they're everywhere. And when you listen to emotional conversations, a pause after important news is often the loudest thing in the conversation. There's also the matter of incomplete sentences. Real people, when they're feeling strong emotions, often don't finish their sentences. They trail off. They start one thought and switch to another. They say, "I just," and stop. This is not a grammar mistake. This is an emotional signal. The emotion is bigger than the sentence. The feeling got ahead of the words. When you hear this in English, that trailing off, that starting and stopping, you know the speaker is in the middle of a strong feeling. Let's try another scene. This one involves two work colleagues, James and Pete. They've been working on a joint proposal for months, and today they found out the proposal was approved. But James is also someone who tends to underplay his emotions at work. He keeps things professional. So listen to how his relief comes out, and how different it sounds from Sophie or Nina. Pete comes into James's office and says, "Hey, just got the email. We got the approval. Full budget." James looks up slowly from his computer. He doesn't jump or shout. He just says, "You're serious?" It's not really a question. Pete says, "Completely serious. Full approval." James is quiet for a second and then says, "Okay, okay, good. That's, yeah, that's good news." He lets out a long, slow breath. Pete grins and says, "You all right, man? You look like you might cry." James shakes his head a little and says, "I'm fine. I wasn't sure this was going to happen. I really wasn't sure." Another pause. "Okay, let's call the team." Now, this is a masterclass in quiet, restrained relief. James does not say, "I'm so relieved," or "Thank goodness." He doesn't explode. He pulls back, and his relief comes out in what linguists call hedging and fragmented syntax. Let me explain what that means. When James says, yeah, that's good news," that dash in the middle, that's the emotion cutting in. He starts to say something, the feeling interrupts him, and he resets. This fragmented speech pattern is a sign of emotional processing. He's not confused. He's feeling something and managing it. "I wasn't sure this was going to happen. I really wasn't sure." The repetition again, and the intensifier, "really." This is how restrained people show strong emotion. They don't open the floodgates. They just let a little bit out through word choice and emphasis. "I really wasn't sure." That "really" carries all the weight that a more expressive person might show with volume or tears or "oh my gosh." Different personalities, different cultural styles, different contexts. They all shape how relief sounds. And the more you listen to real English, the more you'll start to recognize relief, even when it's quiet, even when it's subtle, even when it's tucked inside a calm sentence. Also notice that James redirects quickly. "Okay, let's call the team." This is a classic move in professional English. You allow yourself one moment, one small release, and then you move forward. You get back to business. This is actually a form of emotional communication, too. Moving on quickly is not always about not caring. Sometimes it's about how a person handles big feelings. They don't sit in them for long in professional settings. They acknowledge and move. And if you watch for this pattern, you'll see it everywhere in professional English conversations. Let me now talk about some specific phrases that you should absolutely add to your listening vocabulary. These are the phrases that show up most often when English speakers are expressing relief. And the more familiar you are with them, the faster you'll catch the emotion in real conversations. What a relief. This is classic and simple. 3 words. But the emphasis matters. Say it to yourself now. What? A. Relief. The stress falls on relief. And the word "what" here is an exclamation. It's saying, "This thing is so strong I need to comment on it." You'll hear this after someone escapes something difficult. An exam, a difficult conversation, a health scare, a long trip. What a relief is usually followed by a sigh or a relaxed laugh. "I'm so glad that's over." This one is about duration. It's for situations that went on for a long time. The relief is not just from a single scary moment. It's the relief of something long and exhausting finally ending. When you hear this phrase, picture someone who has been carrying a heavy bag for a long time and finally sets it down. That's the feeling. "I'm so glad that's over. I was so worried." usually said after the worry is gone. I was so worried about you. I was so worried about the exam. This is looking back at the tension from the safety of the other side. The past tense is important. I was worried, not I am worried, tells you that the danger has passed. And the emotion that sits behind those words is relief. That's such a weight off my shoulders. Or the shorter version, what a weight off. This metaphor is everywhere in English. We describe stress as weight, as something heavy we carry. And relief is the moment that weight is removed. When someone says this, they are painting that picture. Something heavy is gone, and their body is lighter now. I needed to hear that. This is a softer, quieter expression of relief. It usually comes in response to good news or reassurance. Someone tells you something good, and you say, I needed to hear that. It means I was carrying worry, and this information has released it. It's warm. It's personal. It's the kind of thing that makes a conversation feel very human. Phew, that was close. For near misses. For situations where something bad almost happened. The relief here has a little bit of adrenaline in it. It's the relief of someone who just stepped back from the edge. Phew, that was close. Usually comes with a laugh or a shake of the head. I can't believe that worked out. This is relief mixed with a little bit of disbelief. When you were so prepared for something to go wrong, and then it didn't? That disbelief is part of the feeling. I really can't believe it. This phrase signals that the speaker had low expectations, or was truly afraid of a bad outcome, and the relief they feel is shaded with surprise. Everything's okay. On the surface, this seems like simple information. But in the right context, after a period of worry, after a scare, everything's okay is one of the most powerful expressions of relief there is. It's reassurance. It's resolution. It wraps things up. Everything's okay is what you say when a story has a happy ending. Now I want to do something a little different. I want to walk you through a longer conversation, one that builds over time, so you can practice tracking relief through an entire exchange. This is a phone call between two friends, Maya and Sarah. Maya's younger brother, Chris, had been in a difficult situation. He was going through some personal trouble, and things had gotten serious. Sarah has been checking in on Maya all week. Now Maya is calling to share an update. Sarah picks up the phone and immediately says, Maya, how is he? How's Chris? Maya's voice sounds tired but softer than last time. He's okay, Sarah. He's actually doing a lot better. He talked to someone today, a counselor, and I think it really helped him. He sounded like himself again on the phone tonight. Like, I heard him laugh and I had to go into another room because I didn't want him to hear me cry. Sarah says very quietly, Oh, Maya. And then she doesn't say anything for a moment. Then she says, That is so good. That is just so good to hear. Maya keeps going. I was so scared, Sarah. Like I don't want to be dramatic, but I was genuinely scared. And now it's like I can exhale, you know? Like I've been holding my breath for a week, and now I can just let it out. Sarah says, You're not being dramatic. Not even a little bit. I'm so relieved for you. For both of you. Maya says, Thank you. Thank you for checking in on me all week. That really mattered. I just want things to go back to normal, you know? For him to be okay. That's all I want. Sarah says, He will be. He's got you. Another pause, and then Maya says quietly, Yeah, he does. Let's look at this conversation in detail because there's so much depth here. The first thing to notice is how Maya opens. He's okay, Sarah. He's actually doing a lot better. Short sentences, simple words, but full of relief. The word actually is doing something interesting there. He's actually doing a lot better. That actually suggests that she wasn't sure he would be. It implies the before, the fear, the uncertainty. Actually marks the contrast between what was feared and what is true. Keep an ear out for that word in emotional conversations. It often points to a reversal of expectation, and reversals of expectation are often the birthplace of relief. She tells the story of hearing Chris laugh and having to leave the room to cry. This is powerful because it tells you how tightly she had been holding on. You don't cry just because someone laughs. You cry because you had been so afraid you might not hear them laugh again. The laugh was the signal that things were okay, and all the tension she'd been carrying, it had to come out somewhere. Tears are the body releasing stored up fear, and that release is relief. Then Maya uses that wonderful phrase, "It's like I can exhale." She's using a different version of the breathe-in metaphor, not "I can breathe again," but "I can exhale." And this one is even more specific, because exhaling is the release part. Inhaling is taking in the tension. Exhaling is letting it go. This is a beautiful, natural metaphor, and it comes straight from the body's experience of relief. Real, embodied language. And then she makes it even more concrete. I've been holding my breath for a week. A week. She marks the time. She gives us the weight of the waiting. Because for relief to land, the listener needs to feel the before. Sarah's response, "I'm so relieved for you, for both of you," is worth a little time too. She says, "For you, for both of you." That second beat, "for both of you," extends the relief outward. She's not just happy for Maya, she's including Chris. It shows she cares about the whole situation, not just the friend in front of her. This is a warmth move in conversation. Adding the second person into the relief is an act of care. And then, near the end, Maya says, "That's all I want." This phrase, in this context, is deeply emotional. When someone says, "That's all I want," after describing something simple, like wanting their brother to be okay, they are saying, "I don't need anything fancy. I don't need anything big. I just need this one thing." It's a kind of emotional stripping down, and it's almost always followed by or surrounded by relief, because relief often comes with a recalibration of what matters. When something scary happens and then resolves, we suddenly remember what was actually important. And those moments come out in phrases like, "That's all I want," or "All I care about is," or "As long as you're okay, nothing else matters." I want to take a moment now to talk about tone of voice, because I know you're listening to audio, and tone is a huge part of what we're working on. Relief has a very specific tonal quality in English. The voice often drops a little. It relaxes. The pace slows down slightly. The sharp, clipped quality of anxious or rushed speech gives way to something rounder, softer, slower. Have you ever noticed the difference in someone's voice when they're scared versus when they're relieved? Scared speech is often higher in pitch, faster, clipped, sometimes louder. Relieved speech is often the opposite. It settles. It slows. It rounds off. There's also often a sigh built into speech when relief is strong. You hear a little extra breath at the start or end of a word or sentence. This is the body doing what it does naturally, exhaling the held breath, and it comes through in how people speak. When you're listening to audio in English, whether it's a podcast, a show, a movie, a YouTube video, listen for this slowing down, this settling, this release of tension in the voice. It will tell you things that the words alone can't. Also, listen for the smile in the voice. When relief is light and happy, like Sophie's relief about her email, there's often a hint of laughter in how people speak. The smile changes the shape of the mouth, and that changes the sound. Happy relief often sounds like the person is very slightly laughing, even when they're not technically laughing. It's one of the warmest sounds in any language. Now, let's bring it back around to practice. I want to give you something concrete to work with. Here is a situation. A woman named Rachel has just found out that her flight, which was scheduled during a big storm and which she was terrified would be canceled, has just landed safely. She's now calling her partner, Tom, from the airport. Think about what she might say. What phrases would you expect? What tone would she have? How long might her sentences be? Would she laugh? Would she cry a little? Would she be rushed and energetic, or quiet and soft? Now listen to how it actually goes. Rachel calls Tom, and she sounds slightly breathless, like she's been holding herself together for hours and is finally letting go. Tom, I'm here. I landed. I'm here. Tom says, "Oh, thank God. I've been watching the flight tracker for 2 hours." Rachel laughs a little, exhausted. I know. It was bumpy. Like, genuinely bumpy. But we're down. We're safe. I'm standing in the airport, and my legs are a little shaky, but I'm here. Tom says, "Come home. Just come home." Rachel says, Yeah, I'm getting my bag. I just needed to call you first. I'm okay. We're okay. Notice the repetition immediately. I'm here. I landed. I'm here. She says it twice, because saying it once doesn't quite make it real. This is a beautiful feature of relief language. The repetition that confirms the good news, that makes it land, that makes the speaker believe it fully. I'm here. Yes. Really here. Safe. This is real. Saying it again is how you hold on to it. My legs are a little shaky. There's that physical detail again. Her body is processing the relief. And she acknowledges it openly, which tells us she feels safe enough with Tom to be vulnerable. And then, I just needed to call you first. Before getting her bag. Before anything. She needed to tell him. That just again. I just needed to. It strips everything down to the essential truth. The most important thing right now was this phone call. And the final line? I'm okay. We're okay. She says, we're okay. Not just, I'm okay. We. She's including him in the safety. Because he was scared too. And his fear was part of the experience. Saying, we're okay, is a way of saying, your relief matters too. This is ours together. Let's do one more scene before we start wrapping up. This one is lighter. It involves a first-time baker named Leo, who has just pulled a birthday cake out of the oven, and it has, against all his expectations, come out perfectly. He's been texting his friend Anna all day in a panic, and now he's calling her. Anna, it's perfect. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. I followed the recipe, but I was so sure I was going to mess it up because I always mess it up. But Anna, it rose. It actually rose. It's beautiful. I'm looking at it right now, and I can't believe it. Anna says, "Are you crying about a cake right now?" Leo laughs. Maybe. Possibly. Don't judge me. I'm just so relieved. My mom's birthday is tomorrow, and I promised her a homemade cake, and I thought I was going to have to go buy one at 11 at night. But it's perfect. Anna says, Leo, go put it on the counter. Step away. Stop staring at it. Leo says, laughing now, I can't. I'm scared if I look away it'll somehow unbake. This scene is full of joy relief. The kind where the stakes were low, but the person cared deeply, and the outcome is happy. Notice how much energy Leo has. His sentences run long. He piles detail on detail. He's processing the relief through words, getting it all out. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. This uncertainty, this disbelief, is typical of happy surprise relief. He can't quite explain how the good thing happened, and that makes the relief feel even more delightful. It actually rose. The word actually, again, marking a reversal of expectation. He didn't expect it to rise. It did. Relief plus surprise. And then the lovely, funny, completely human fear. I'm scared if I look away, it'll somehow unbake. He's so relieved and so uncertain that the good thing is real that he's afraid to lose sight of it. This is the relief of someone who doesn't quite trust the good news yet, who needs to stand right next to it to believe it. Very human. Very real. Very English. As we get close to the end of today's lesson, I want to bring everything together for you. We've heard a lot of conversations today, a lot of different characters, a lot of different kinds of relief. And I hope you noticed that relief never sounds exactly the same twice. It changes with the person. It changes with the situation. It changes with the weight of what was at stake. Nina's relief was energetic and fast. Daniel and Laura's was quiet and deep. Sophie's was laughing and a little embarrassed. James was restrained and professional. Maya and Sarah's was warm and tender. Rachel's was breathless and real. Leo's was joyful and over the top. 7 different reliefs. 7 different sounds. All the same emotion at the core. So here's what I want you to start doing. When you're listening to English, in any context, start listening for the before. What was the tension? What was the worry? What was the weight? And then listen for when that weight goes away. Listen for the exhale in the voice, the slowing down, the phrases like, I can breathe again, and what a relief, and I'm just so glad. Listen for the pauses, the trailing sentences, the quiet yeah that means so much. Listen for the body details, the shaky legs, the tears, the laughter. These are your signals. These are the emotional signposts of the English language. And here's something else I want you to try. When you have a moment, when something in your life has been stressful and then resolves, try expressing that relief in English, out loud, even if you're alone. Say, I'm so relieved. Say, what a weight off. Say, I can finally breathe. Say it with the feeling behind it. Because language learning is not just about knowing the words. It's about connecting the words to the real experiences of your life. When you do that, the language stops being foreign and starts being yours. Before I let you go, I want to say this. I think relief is one of the most underrated emotions to study in a second language. We practice happiness. We practice sadness. We practice excitement. But relief, that deep, quiet, sometimes tearful, sometimes laughing exhale after something hard, that's where so much of real human conversation lives. In the moments after the hard thing. In the space where the tension breaks. And now you know how to hear it. This has been English in Fluency with me, Alex, and today we explored how speakers express relief in natural English conversation. We looked at real phrases, real emotional patterns, real voice qualities, and real human moments. I hope this felt different from a regular lesson. I hope it felt like something you could carry with you into real life. If this episode helped you, I would love it if you subscribed to English in Fluency and left a comment telling me one phrase from today that you want to remember. Just one. Write it down in the comments. It helps you remember it, and it helps me know what's landing for you. And if you want more of this kind of deep listening practice, where we go beyond just vocabulary and really get into the heart of how English feels, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. You showed up, you listened, you worked. That matters. Keep going. Keep listening. Keep feeling the language. I'll see you in the next episode of English in Fluency. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Bye for now.